right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Two former workers at a St. Louis car dealership take their former employer to court and win. Tonight, they talk only to the I-Team about their discrimination claims.
Mother Nature settles down for a few days. How long of a break before thunder roars again?
Our top story, Sunday cleanup. Several Saturday tornadoes leave their mark across the bi-state.
Lots of structural damage, no casualties, thankfully.
Tonight, we survey the damage on both sides of the river. Good evening, I'm Mark Maxwell. Mike Bush has the night off. Tonight, the National Weather Service has confirmed at least 7 tornadoes touched down in both Missouri and Illinois. The brunt of the damage happening to the southeast of the St. Louis metro area. Our Laura Barcheski kicks off our team coverage in Ballwin tonight. She got a look at the damage in both states. Laura?
Mark, here at the point in Ballwin, the storm sucked out this giant panel of windows, making their pool area unusable. But this damage happened all over the bi-state. Tornadoes and strong winds ripped up trees and tore through buildings. This weekend's storm ripped through large parts of Missouri and Illinois. In Ballwin, the Point's indoor pool is now full of glass. Over in Fenton and Valley Park, the National Weather Service reports an EF1 tornado uprooted trees and tore down signs. And just a little further south, a similar story in Hillsboro, where an EF0 tornado twisted through town.
Trees that have been uprooted. We've also seen a lot of trees that were snapped in half, large trees coming down just across that entire area. A lot of residential structures as well that have varying degrees of damage to the shingles or the siding on there.
The storm pushed over small buildings at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds and even blew out the steeple on this church just off Main Street.
It does seem like most of the trees managed to avoid actually coming down on structures, which is excellent.
Across the river in Illinois, Belleville resident Hattie Hayes says the storm ripped open her roof and took down decades-old trees so close to her home.
So it's the shingles down to the bare wood, and it's leaking inside of the house.
And that wasn't even the scariest part.
And then I came outside and all the surroundings were filled with, you could smell propane gas, so I ran down here, grabbed my dog and ran down the street with my phone and called 911.
Luckily, the fire department was able to help before the worst happened.
I just thought my house was going to blow up. I was waiting for it to go up in blaze. But the fireman got here in time enough to cut off the main to the house, propane main to the house, so I don't have heat or hot water right now till they get here tomorrow.
She's thankful she wasn't hurt and no other injuries were reported. Back here in Ballwin, the Point's pool will be closed until further notice, but the entire rec center besides the pool will be open. Reporting live in Ballwin, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
Some frightening moments there, Laura, thanks. The storms also left their mark on Peevely, where an EF1 tornado with winds of up to 100 miles per hour snapped power lines and trees, knocked down fences, and caused a pavilion to collapse. That line of storms then crossed the Mississippi into Monroe County, causing damage there. Right now, surveyors say it was an EF0 tornado. Signs of the damage were strewn across the town of Hecker, about 40 minutes southeast of St. Louis. Mercedes McKay continues our team coverage after talking with storm survivors there today.
I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know when the electric's coming on, even if it does, if the house is usable.
Like many in Monroe County on Sunday morning.
It was like raining inside the house all the way across.
Noah Dillard is trying to figure out what to do next.
Well, I didn't really know what to think. I looked out the window and seen a tree was right there.
Saturday night storms uprooting a backyard tree right on top of Dillard's home.
It was like it was raining inside. The light fixtures had water pouring out of them like it was a faucet.
The high winds blowing trampolines in the air and pieces of Dillard's home across the street.
You can see the entire neighborhood is speckled with my shingles. So that's nice.
Once the sun came up, Monroe County Public Safety Director Kevin Scheibe was back out assessing the damage.
We had a very long night and eventually we'll get some sleep.
Scheibe says every community in the county was impacted by the storms.
Lots of structural damage, no casualties, thankfully.
While there's a lot of repairs to be done, there's a lot of helping hands.
The traffic is truly increased in Hecker.
And this community will rebuild together.
Everybody's there to help each other. That's what makes Monroe County very unique.
In Hecker, Mercedes McKay, 5 on your side.
Ameren customers in Hecker will likely be without power until 10 o'clock tomorrow night. In all, about 2,500 Ameren customers in Illinois and 1,600 Ameren customers in Missouri remain in the dark tonight. A cold and breezy night across St. Louis thanks to those Saturday storms, but a big warm-up is on the way. Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell was here all day yesterday, tracking those tornadoes, punching the clock, racking up that overtime. Scott, you got more about the weather.
Yeah, and we're talking here about the tornadoes from yesterday. You kind of got the overview here from our reporters out there. The surveys are still ongoing, and they'll continue tomorrow, may even last into Tuesday, as the National Weather Service still going out and investigating the areas of damage. What we know so far is that 7 weak tornadoes touched down. We have all of them as quick spin-ups, rated EF0 and EF1, and the best part of this is no injuries or deaths reported from any of that, and that's the most important part. I mean, we can replace stuff, we can fix stuff, we can clean stuff up. We can't replace you. You look at the showers and thunderstorms from yesterday, it was that line. Initially, a couple of isolated cells at the very beginning of that as it pushed through the metro area. Lots of wind, tremendous amount of rain, also a lot of hail. Those were the tornado reports from Storm Reports. Here's the actual tracks from the surveys today. Fenton to Sunset Hills, about 4.5 miles. It lifted just before it got to 270. Went right through north of just downtown Hillsboro there, a little over half mile, mostly tree damage there. In Pevely, it crossed right over 55. The maximum winds with that right around 100 miles per hour. Valmeyer had maximum winds at about 85 miles per hour, and that was just south of Valmeyer. This is the one that was the longest track, the one that went from Maystown up to Hecker. Maximum winds along that path were around 100 miles per hour. And just late this afternoon, a couple of tornado tracks confirmed in St. Clair County. Swansea with about a mile-long track, and just to the east of that, at the same time, you had that track with an EF1 on Belleville that kind of just went up Lebanon Road and then lifted before it got over to Greenmount Road. So, we're through with that. We still have the windy, chilly conditions. That's going to last into tomorrow morning. The clouds are breaking overnight tonight, and it will be warmer by Tuesday and Wednesday and stormy by Thursday. More on that in a few minutes, Mark.
All right, Scott, thanks. Tonight, a 19-year-old man is in jail, accused of robbing a man at gunpoint outside the Enterprise Center. The robbery happened around 5 yesterday morning near the intersection of 14th and Clark. Police arrested Cameron Moreland a few blocks away. Officers say he had an AR-style pistol and several of the victim's items on him. Prosecutors have charged him with first-degree robbery. A high-stakes court hearing this Tuesday could determine the fate of Kim Gardner's career. The embattled St. Louis Circuit Attorney is scheduled to appear and ask a judge to throw out the case against her. Attorney General Andrew Bailey wants the court to find that Gardner has neglected her duties and effectively forfeited her office, which is right now drowning under heavy caseloads and losing key attorneys who try felony cases. The judge will allow cameras in the courtroom. Tuesday's hearing is expected to begin around 1:30. You can watch the hearings unfold on 5+, the 5 on Your Side YouTube page, and on KSDK.com. We expect the court could rule on a number of motions, including Gardner's request to throw it out and Bailey's request to remove her from office while the case proceeds against her. Tomorrow, a St. Louis soldier killed in a Black Hawk helicopter crash will be laid to rest. A visitation was held tonight for Chief Warrant Officer Zachary Esparza from the 101st Airborne. His funeral will be tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the Cross Point Church in South County. He will be buried at Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery. Governor Mike Parson has ordered all U.S. and Missouri flags at government buildings to be flown at half-staff tomorrow. Chief Warrant Officer Rustin Smith of St. James, Missouri, also died in last month's crash at Fort Campbell in Kentucky. He was laid to rest yesterday.
Tonight, discrimination claims against an auto dealer.
When I had an African-American client, it was more difficult to get the deal approved.
The accusations our I-Team discovered against one St. Louis dealership and the similar claims from across the country. Bud Light boycott. Tonight, our Verified team crushes the validity of a viral video. Plus, the Conservative saying this Bud is still for you.
Gusty winds continue into Monday, and it's another week of weather changes and challenges. Why some of us have not seen our last frost of the season.
Tonight, a warning for car buyers. 2 former employees sued a St. Louis car dealership and won over claims of discrimination. The I-Team found that lawsuit also uncovered allegations of discriminatory sales practices, which the dealership denied. Now, the two women are sharing their story exclusively with 5 on Your Side's Christine Byers.
For 3.5 years, Dorothy Robinson and Denise Ligon walked into work at this Mercedes dealership on Hampton Avenue. And they say they were pressured to negotiate deals they knew weren't fair.
When I had an African-American client, it was more difficult to get the deal approved.
I witnessed that they treated Black customers differently.
Every time they voiced concerns to management, nothing happened.
I had got frustrated, my clients got frustrated, and that's when I said something to the desk manager, like, you are overcharging them because they're Black.
So they joined forces, suing the dealership's parent company, TriStar Imports, for discrimination and retaliation. The two women say they, along with their Black female coworkers, were treated more harshly. The lawsuit alleges one manager often refused to accept checks from African American customers, but accepted checks from the white customers who came to the dealership. In depositions obtained by the I-Team, both women alleged managers would mark up interest rates or hold checks for Black customers. At one point, Robinson said she raised her voice with a manager while trying to negotiate with a Black customer when she felt a deal was too expensive. In that same deposition, she testified that she was later suspended. Robinson also testified that there were, quote, other salespeople complaining about this practice.
It's so much bigger than what people know.
The I-Team found similar allegations in car lending across the country. The Federal Trade Commission fined an Illinois auto dealer last year for sneaking in illegal junk fees to Black consumers. The FTC found that dealership also illegally tacked on fees for unwanted payment insurance and paint protection. It cost car buyers hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars in hidden fees. And in 2013, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau ordered Ally Financial to pay over $90 million in damages and penalties for spiking interest fees on Black borrowers.
They have an incentive to unfortunately charge people as much as they can.
John Van Alst is an attorney with the National Consumer Law Center. His group has researched discriminatory car lending for nearly 20 years.
There really isn't any transparency and people don't know what's happening. It's hard for a consumer to even know if they were discriminated against. You can't tell after you walk out of the dealership.
A report by the center revealed that auto financing companies often charge Black and Hispanic consumers between $300 and $500 more in interest rate markups compared to white borrowers. Alst is lobbying for more transparency in the process.
We'd like to see those things, the price set on the value of the car and the cost for credit, the interest rate you're charged based on your credit worthiness rather than your race or ethnicity or things like that.
The only thing they happy to hear is that they approve, but they don't know under what conditions I'm approved for. It's almost like doing a deal with the devil.
Robinson and Ligon won their suit, and a jury awarded them $1.8 million. They hope it leads to fair deals for car buyers of all races.
It was someone believing that what I had talked about for so much time, many years, finally they believed me.
TriStar Imports declined our request for an interview 3 times and has paid the $1.8 million judgment. The NCLC recommends if you're going to get a car loan, finance it through a bank or credit union where rates are typically lower. For the I-Team, Christine Byers, 5 on Your Side.
Today, Grants Farm opened for the season. Opening day was delayed yesterday because of the storms. Families bundled up to ride the tram through Deer Park, feed the goats, and meet the Clydesdales. Adults could sample some Anheuser-Busch products. New this year, the Grants Farm in the Sky drone show spectacular,
which is 150 synchronized drones to a custom, uniquely St. Louis, uniquely Grants Farm experience. I don't think it's ever been done in St. Louis on a scale like this, so we're very excited.
The drone shows run Friday and Saturday nights from Memorial Day weekend to Labor Day weekend. And Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us now with the Weather First forecast. Scott?
Yeah, you know that tornado that was there in Fenton and went over towards Sunset Hills wasn't too far away from getting into the Grants Farm area. So probably a good thing that they did not have the festivities going on there last night, kind of postponing that. They'll do the fireworks and the big celebration a little later on, but quiet conditions now around the St. Louis area. Looking at Lambert, planes coming and going, and everything seems to be pretty much on time at this point. We've seen some light rain showers continuing to drift by to our north. More of an annoyance than anything else. Not a lot in terms of accumulating rainfall, but you might get enough here once again to get the streets a little wet, get the interstate just a little damp here as you head up Interstate 55 and maybe out Interstate 70. But at least we're not seeing snowflakes. That's happening right now as you go up into Iowa, into Wisconsin, eastern portions of Minnesota. Winter storm warnings up there. In fact, some spots even looking at blizzard warnings. The winds really howling up there in northern portions of Wisconsin and Minnesota. Our winds have been pretty strong today. They haven't necessarily been very warm. Okay, that's an understatement. Temperatures have been stuck in the 40s during the day for us in St. Louis. We still have those clouds, but you can see the back edge of the clouds kind of around Columbia down towards Cape Girardeau. Eventually, we're just going to kind of nudge that off to the east as we head through the overnight hours. Right now in St. Louis, cloudy conditions, 47 degrees at Lambert, dew point's 31, that 52 for the high. That was in the wee hours. 42 was our low. That happened early this morning during those showers. Tonight, as clouds start to break up, we expect temperatures to drop into the mid to upper 30s, close to 40 degrees. That breeze stays up. Not worried about any frost tomorrow morning because that wind keeps things mixed up. Temperatures tomorrow back into the mid, maybe even a few upper 60s by late in the day. We still have winds, though, to deal with tomorrow. They'll still be gusty. They do pick back up as we head through the day tomorrow, and then the strongest wind gusts will shift east of St. Louis later in the afternoon. Next weather system looks like that's going to start pushing our way towards Wednesday night and Thursday, which means Tuesday and Wednesday we continue our warming trend. And then as we head into Thursday with that front back to the west, anticipating temperatures climbing into the upper 70s on Thursday, and with this front coming through later in the day into Thursday evening, maybe some stronger thunderstorms with that. We don't know exactly the best chances for that, other than to say it looks like the chances for severe weather would be a little bit higher farther to the south of St. Louis. But we'll continue to monitor that as we go towards the end of the week. And then we'll get colder air again delivered here for next weekend. And as skies clear out next Saturday night into Sunday, we may have a little more frost next Sunday morning. So don't go crazy in the garden this week.
April frost brings, I don't know. All right, Scott, thanks. Bud Light backlash. The call tonight to end a boycott over the local brew's latest marketing campaign. Starting tomorrow, Planned Parenthood is expanding access to care for new transgender patients. This includes clinics in the Central West End and Fairview Heights. This is in response to Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey's emergency rule that requires 18 months of therapy for both adults and children before receiving gender-affirming health care. Doctors must also provide a lengthy list of potential negative side effects and warnings against those treatments. Last week, the Missouri House voted to ban transgender procedures outright. That measure is now in the hands of the Senate. Tonight, the son of former President Donald Trump is calling for an end to any boycotts of Bud Light amid controversy surrounding its marketing partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. Donald Trump Jr. posted on a conservative social media site this weekend that Anheuser-Busch has a history of supporting Republicans. The St. Louis brewery has faced some backlash since Mulvaney posted this video to Instagram last month promoting the brand. On Friday, AB CEO Brendan Whitworth released a statement that read in part, "We never intended to be part of a discussion that divides people. We're in the business of bringing people together over a beer." He did not specifically name Mulvaney or that partnership. A viral video claiming to be part of a Bud Light boycott has been circulating online. It shows thousands of cans of beer crushed. Our Verified team looked into it. Here's Brandon Lewis.
This viral TikTok with more than 3 million views claims to show someone using a steamroller to destroy pallets of Bud Light beer. The post implies it was done this month to protest Bud Light partnering with influencer Dylan Mulvaney because she's transgender. But is that really what's happening here? Let's verify. Our sources are a reverse image search using InVid, the municipality of Mexicali, Mexico, and Armando Nieblas, a journalist in Mexico. Verify used InVid, a footage forensics tool, to search for the original video. One of the replies on the viral post led us to this video shot by Nieblas. He posted it on February 28th, several weeks before Bud Light announced their partnership. Nieblas says the video shows Mexicali government workers destroying 85,000 containers of beer, and it's not just Bud Light. On the same day, the Mexicali government posted pictures from the event. The government says they were destroying beer that was seized during the pandemic that had become a health hazard. So, no, this video does not show cans of Bud Light beer being destroyed as part of a boycott in April. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
What would you like for us to verify? Send us an email to verify@ksdk.com. It's off to the races, when you can start placing your bets on the ponies on live races in the Metro East. Procrastinators, take note. If you haven't filed your taxes yet, time is running out. You have just a little more than 48 hours left before that deadline approaches. Your 2022 return must be filed with the IRS by Tuesday, April 18. More than 168 million returns are expected to be filed, 92% of them electronically. Earth Day is next Saturday. Wallet Hub recently ranked the greenest states in the U.S. based on metrics like eco-friendly behaviors and climate change contributions. The top 3 states: Vermont, New York, and California. Illinois coming in 22nd. Missouri ranked 32. Live racing returns to FanDuel Sportsbook and horse racing this week. They begin Tuesday afternoon, post time, 1 o'clock. Live racing will take place every Tuesday afternoon and Saturday night until November 18. That's all of our time for 5 on your side at 10. Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. Now, here's Frank Cusimano with Sports Plus.